take your crap stable approach to my bye week.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Okay. Yeah, fine. I won't look at anything then. Pat told me.
There's some media member waiting for you to mess up so they could say Aaron Rodgers did tell Pat McAfee last week that he was not going to watch any film because they were riding a heater like Pat was at the craps table in Detroit, Michigan. Like that's a real
Who
thing.
do you think it's going to be? Bob Domofsky or...
Are we doing this right now? Because Bleacher Report got you last week. Did you see after you told us about you joking with Matt LaFleur, basically saying that your relationship with Matt LaFleur is so good that you actually act as if your speaker doesn't work and you go like, oh, I can't hear, and you're just joking around with him? They took that completely out of context. Yep. It was like Aaron Rodgers tells Matt LaFleur his speaker isn't working so he can call his own plays, and they called you a savage and all that shit. I'm like, I believe this is taken out of context.
I mean, yeah, seriously, is anybody surprised? Is anybody surprised?
No.
All
I guess not.
The fucking media does is write stories to get clicks. So it doesn't matter. Like, I can give a long answer about something, and they can take a blip of it and write a story about it that has nothing to do with what I was saying. Nobody's going to take the time to, unless you're watching this live, to listen to this entire interview. They're going to take pieces of it. They don't, and if I'm not doing this in person, you can't see, facial expressions, or if you're not listening to it, if you're just reading a transcript, you can't hear voice inflection and tone and inference. So that's just the way it is. That's why I love doing this, because I have a platform with you guys and the boys to say whatever I want, to speak the truth, and shit like that's going to happen. It doesn't matter. I don't spend any extra time about it. I find it comical, because then we can bring it up and be like, this is what we were talking about. Here it is.
Yes. Hey, so how do you know what to believe then, A-Rod? Like, when you're reading other things and websites and stuff outside of football, how do you know? How does anybody know?
I think you just have to be skeptical in general. I think that's having an open mind, is being skeptical and not just believing everything at face value, or believing everything that your Twitter and social media tells you. I think people need to remember, there's a lot of interesting documentaries about this stuff. Cambridge Analytica. If you watch that documentary about the 2016 election, and you understand how many data points there are out there about us, we are being constantly fed things that confirm our own bias already. It's called confirmation bias. It's when they feed information to you that hits you in the areas that you like, and just continues to further the things that you believe. And you think that you're like learning, but you're actually just being fed information that keeps you on one side, and that's the division that's created. And I'm not a fan of it. I think you should read both sides of stories. You should read both sides books, that tackle both sides of issues. You should be very skeptical about the things you read, and do your own research, and not just listen to something because somebody told you, some blue check mark on Twitter told you to believe something. You should, have an open mind and do your own research and feel into what you think is the truth.
Let's go. Yeah. Hey, you were preaching right there, sir. You were preaching right there.
Hey,
that good stuff right there. You were preaching.
I'm going to give you one per week. One per week that the boys can clip and put it out there and piss some people off, and make people think that I'm on some ivory tower, acting like I got it all together.
Oh, it must be nice up there.